squadron marching. Basically, my ultimate goal today is for us to march a squadron in a square, end up exactly where we started, and then fall out. What we're going to do right now is we're going to demonstrate. We're going to have two flights. One will be Charlie flight, and then the second flight will be POC flight. We're going to fall in, demonstrate the procedures for falling in, the procedures for marching. So I'm going to try to, there's a lot of little specifics, so I'm going to try my best to highlight those. We're going to have to go through it a couple times before you guys get a hang of it, and then after we demonstrate it, we'll involve everyone, and we'll try to march the squadron. All right? Are there any questions right now? All right, Charlie flight, and if there are enough cadets for the POC flight, we can form up. Can I breathe up?
Watch out for the track team.
If you follow me in here, we'll form up right here, and then we'll march that way. So if you stand right here. Alright, so when forming up a squadron, the squadron commander is going to command fall in. That's going to be 6 paces from the point where the squadron commander wants them to fall in. So it's going to be 6 paces from the front element. When you fall in, you're going to fall in line formation. So your element leaders are going to be on your right, and you're going to line up in this case, 3 elements. So you're going to have your first element, second element, third element, and the squadron commander is going to be 6 paces from that front element. Are there any questions about that so far? Alright, your flight commander is going to be 3 paces from the front of the first element. So your 1, 2, 3, flight commander will be here. Flight commander will be here, right? The distance between the 2 flights is going to be 3 paces. It's going to be 3 paces from the element leaders and the deputy flight commander of the next flight. Are there any questions about that? Yes.
What about the guide or guidon bearer and the spacing between the flights?
So the guidon bearer, it's going to be so the 3 paces between the flights is going to be between the guidon bearer. So that was a correction, not the element leader. It's going to be from the guidon bearer to the deputy. Here. So they're not falling in yet. When they do fall in, they're going to be down 1. Could I call your flight? Could I call your flight didn't fall in yet, so you can now. Alright, so at the command to fall in, the squadron commander is going to command fall in. Could I breathe up or command fall in?
Fall in.
Squadron! Fall in!
Alright, so after this, we're gonna just march the squadron down towards your left. So what's gonna happen is, first the squadron commander will command the flights to turn to the right, because you want their element leaders in the front so that you can do column movements. Alright, so the flight commanders will always echo everything except for when the preparatory command is, like for example, squadron flight. So attention would be a good example. So if your squadron was at parade rest, your squadron commander would say squadron, and your flight commanders will not echo squadron, they'll echo flight. Right? Other than that, every single preparatory command will be echoed exactly. So column right, forward. Okay? But there's discrepancies in here. There's exceptions to that, but we'll go over that. Alright, so before moving, we're going to command, or the squadron commander will command the flights to turn towards the right.
Right?
Right!
Right!
Hey!
At that command, all of the guidon bearers will move to the proper position. The squadron commander will then command the flight commanders to post.
Flight commanders, post!
So the flight commanders will take position in front of the first element leader, in line with the guidon bearer. Any questions about that so far? But if there are any questions while I'm explaining this, please raise your hand. All right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to march the squadron forward, and then we're going to stop. And we're go into column movements after that.
Forward.
Forward.
March. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Squadron.
Right.
Halt. Halt.
Alright, so cover is a command that won't be echoed. The squadron commander will just command cover, and the flights in the squadron will cover off of that. Right? That's a command that doesn't need to be echoed. Alright. What we're gonna do now, when you fall out the squadron needs to be falling out in the exact formation that they were falling in. So, yes.
Have the squadron move to the left to get them out of the clouds.
Okay, we're gonna fall out and we're gonna move back here.
Just do that out. Just like where it's like the
Oh, okay, all okay.
just inside.
Alright, so we're gonna fall out the squadron, so we'll turn the squadron to face the correct position.
Left.
Left.
Hey. Flight commanders, post.
The flight commanders will go back centered in the flight, 3 pieces in front of them, and then you can follow the squadron. So usually we'll do like how PT, flight commanders take control of flights, carry out the orders.
Flight commanders, take control of your flights and carry out the orders of the day.
And flight commanders, you can just follow your flights. Good, see flight. All out. All out. Now we're gonna go over column movements. Reload, follow them in from here so that the element leaders are on this side. Yep. Alright, so column movements are going to get a little complicated because your echoing is going to change. Kind of reload, you can go ahead and fall in the spot.
Call it. We move further down. Go ahead and call it. Squadron, fall in.
Okay, fall in.
Alright, so when you execute a column movement from a halted position, the first flight, which is, for example, go ahead and turn them right.
Left.
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 Hey. About.
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 Hey.
Alright, so we have our element leaders in front here. We're going to execute a column left from stop.
Good, Tom.
Yes.
Column right, because the track is.
Alright, we're going to execute a column right. At that command, kind of reload, the squadron commander will command column right. The flight commander of the preceding flights, in this case we only have one preceding flight, won't echo column right, they'll echo forward. So you gotta think they're not going to do column right for this position. So the first flight commander will echo column right, and the second flight commander will echo forward.
That's always.
That's correct. Yes.
Sound off. Sound off.
So prior to that, we're going to go ahead and post the flight commanders.
Flight commanders, post.
So they'll move to their positions. Because reload will move to 3 paces to the closest element. Right? So he's on this side, should be 3 paces. These guys, he's on this side, 3 paces too. So command column right. Front will echo column right. Second one will echo forward. It's the second flight commander's responsibility to call the column right in approximately the same position as where the first flight executed the column right.
Column right.
Forward.
March. March. No. Red.
All right.
March.
Oh.
No. Red. Forward.
there, if the
Flight
second
commanders, post.
flight calls the column movement too late, they're going to end up too far, too close. So it's the element leader's responsibility to get them back into that position, directly behind the first flight. Right? And then if we have time, we're going to go into slowing down the flight so that you maintain that proper distance. Right? But for now, we're going to focus on falling in, moving, stopping, falling out. Right? All right. Let's march it in, a big square. All right. So we're going to breathe up. Okay, so we're just going to march them in a square around back here. Alright, we're going to go around. So just go around the orange lines. So on that side is going to be just go up to the yellow line on that side. Yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do now, we're following in. We'll do a column left from stop.
Okay, make sure you get the three from the flight.
The second flight commander is going to echo.
White flight.
Instead of when we started from the stop, the second flight commander gave the command forward. When you're marching and the column movement is called, front flight commander is going to command column left or the column movement. The second flight commander is going to command continue the march. Basically continue up until that point at which point he'll call the column movement.
And that's only when you're already marching?
Yes, that's only when you're already marching. If you're from a halt, you're going to echo forward. Right, are there any other questions? There's a lot of specifics to this. Alright. Let's go ahead and march around.
Right.
Right.
Hey.
Go column.
Flight commanders, post. Column left.
Forward.
March. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
March.
4. Forward. March. As you went. Forward.
Forward.
March. Column left.
Forward.
March. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward.
Forward.
March. Column left.
Forward.
March.
Hold up. March.
Forward.
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 March. Quadrant.
Right.
Halt. Cover. Left.
Left.
Hey. Flight commanders, post. Flight commanders, take control of your flights and carry out the orders of the day.
Fall out.
Right flight. Fall out.
Alright. Are there any questions about the commands, spacing, anything like that? Alright, so just to reiterate, I was confused when I first read it. When you're executing a column movement, you stop. Second flight commander echoes forward. So they need to move up to that position where the column movement is done. If you're already moving and a column movement is called, second flight commander is going to echo continue the march. You're going to continue to march up into that point And at that point, it's the flight commander's responsibility to command the column movement. Yes.
Continue to or
Continue the march. Continue the march. Are there any other questions? Yes.
What about calling cadences?
Do you want me to go over that now, or okay? Quick question. All right. So counting cadence. The command is going to be count cadence count. At that, it's going to be called on the left foot by the squadron commander. So the squadron will be marching. Squadron commander will command count cadence count. At that point, the flights will commence what's called rolling cadence. What that means is that the front flight commander will begin counting cadence for 8 counts, and then the preceding flight commander will commence for 8 counts. So it's going to go back and forth. Usually, so you as a flight commander will continue 8 on, 8 off, but it's just going to be staggered between the 2 flights. Does that make sense?
Can we get an example?
Yes. All right. So we're going to run through it real quick. Okay, cool. Okay. Everyone go ahead and follow me, and then we'll do just command mark time. So the echo for mark time, mark time, mark time. So you're gonna fall in. Yeah, fall in ready.
Squadron! Fall in!
Can't see flying. Fall in.
Right?
Right.
Hey! Flight commanders, post! Mark time!
Mark time.
March! 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. Count, cadence, count!
Up, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, up. Up, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, up. Up, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, up.
Good cadence! Squadron!
Right.
Halt!
So the command to stop rolling cadence is suspend cadence. That's given by the squadron commander. Alright, any questions?
Left!
Left.
Hey! Flight commanders, post! Flight commanders, take control of your flights and carry out the orders of the day.
Follow out.
Fight, fall out.
Alright, perfect. Alright, so let's form up into your Alpha and Bravo flight. Let's have the FTB cadets be, 2 FTB cadets be flight commanders, and then 1 FTB flight cadet, or 1 FTB cadet be squadron commander. So we get 3. Let's call it 3. Could have Bear. Could have Fawn.
The rest of you fall into the flights.
Could have Gordon's Watford.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The rest of you fall into Alpha and Bravo flight.
Alright. So let's form up into